Just bear with me for a second, if you wouldn't mind. You know, I am a Sefton councillor. Anybody will tell you that if anybody has complained about what I've called exempt items, it's me. So you,
Sorry, what's your name, councillor?
Ron Watson. Watson. Now, what you actually have is a situation where, for example, the Cabinet will say, no, this is exempt, but the decisions go to what I call the overview and scrutiny committees. Are you with me?
Yeah, but the overview and scrutiny committees are the same people, they mark their own homework.
Okay.
So don't say the overview.
I'm not.
Let him
If you like, be good enough to let me finish.
Go on,
I'm going to make
I
a point. My complaint is that the overview and scrutiny committees aren't allowed to see the papers and documents on the decisions that they're asked to scrutinise.
Yeah.
Now, to me, that's utter nonsense.
Exactly.
So that's but bear with me. That's the first point. The second point is that the concept of overview and scrutiny is not what I personally support. It doesn't matter what I think. I mean, you know, I just want to half a dozen. But if you have a system like that, as used the phrase which you've used, all of the chairmen of the overview and scrutiny committees are all of the majority party. Now, the best one in the world,
that is a
you
problem.
can't have that. So the nearest equivalent, have you heard of House of Commons select committees? You probably have. Well, now they're elected by the whole members of, so they're often members of other parties. They're not the majority party. So I only mention that because I've got a record of saying this isn't on.
So, councillor, can I ask which party you're in? Are you Labour?
No, I'm Conservative.
Right. Oh God, you are in a minority.
I am.
Of what?
Well, you know, there's a few of us. But my point is, of course, this didn't happen before under the old system, you know, committees. So that meant that everybody was a member in proportion. It didn't make any difference to the decisions, but at least you were there, you saw the papers, you had a grip. So that's the point I'm making. As best I can. What I would say to you is this: there are, and I did just mention this, there are other ways in which you can do it. You all, every one of you, can put down a question.
I did.
To at the full council meeting.
Right. Okay.
So what I just want to suggest.
No, I've tried that, councillor.
That question has to be answered. If you follow me, you might not like the answer, but it has to be answered.
I tried
and
that.
At the end of the day, that goes to all, if they're there, all the 66 members of the council. Now, at the end of the day, however, it's a democratic body. So if the majority of people there have a point of view and they support a decision, that's democracy.
That isn't democracy. That was not democracy.
No, as I've said, you know, you ask anybody, and they'll say, if anybody has a go at this, it's wrong. Because I do. You know, I have to leave this meeting, you know, but I've been elected by everybody else.
Why do you have to leave when you're a councillor?
Because the rule says, if it's an exempt item, it's called members of the press and public, and I'm classified as the public, so I have to leave.
But it's a nonsense rule. It's a rule which is being enforced for their good.
No, it's based on legal advice they've received. Don't get me wrong, I totally oppose it. I really do. All I'm trying to say to you is that if it's of any help to you, that's all I'm saying, is that, you know, the way councils run are actually really quite complex. But to me, the public, and, you know, I mean, I've been a councillor for 50 years. I was very young when I started.
Started when you were 2.
So you've seen some changes?
So I've seen, yes, I have, and I don't like any of them, but that doesn't matter. Like, the majority have voted to have this system.
It does matter, councillor, it matters.
But they are entitled legally to do that. So the only point I'm trying to get at is that if you want to address, and you can, all of the councillors, every party, every part of Sefton, all the rest of it, you do have the ability to do that. The public very, very rarely ever use that. It's very unusual.
They will be now.
They've never had to though, because this all corruption is all coming up now. So when people have gone along with it,
it's bubbled to the surface now.
You know,
it's more apparent.
I'm not in a position to, you know, comment on, you know, what you might describe as corruption. No, I can honestly tell you, in all the time I've seen hundreds of councillors come and go, and I can honestly tell you that in that period, there's only been 3 occasions when there has been, and I'll just call it difficulty.
Yeah.
Now that's not a bad
Okay,
record.
so can you explain?
So,
Well,
I'm only trying to...
explain John Fairclough, Ian.
I'm not...
No, he's not here to do that.
Not up to me.
That's not
Not
him
up to
to
me
do.
to explain
John,
anything.
you answer many
He's
of my
not
comments.
responsible
No,
for them, Ian.
Yeah. So all I'm trying to do is say to you that you have options. And if I were in your position, and that's all I can say,
Well, can I...
I would do that. And you can put pressure on your local councillors as well, particularly if they don't hold any leadership positions. I mean, you know...
Councillor, I
there's
have tried every avenue. I have read the Constitution.
Yeah, I gather that. I read
Hundreds of pages of the Constitution.
Yeah.
So I know my rights. I know our rights. So I challenged Mr. McCullough to say, you have said that we
I
can
know,
only
sorry.
ask one question
Yeah.
at a full council meeting.
That's correct.
Why can I not, as a member of the public, ask a question at any council meeting? He simply said, oh, it's in the Constitution. I'm sorry, that's not a good enough answer.
No.
Why does the Constitution say that is
because that's
the
what they've
query?
agreed to do. I'm not defending it. But you
it's like
can't...
a dictatorship,
with all
basically.
due respect, you couldn't have every council meeting, committee type meeting or whatever, with the ability for anybody from anywhere to come in and start joining in.
Well,
You
no,
can't do that.
you have to give...
No, you
No,
can't.
I have
mean,
given...
So they get to
you-
dictate
you
what
have-
happens
No,
in
no, Lynn.
You have to have... No, you have
No,
to
that's
have
fair enough. It would
no, but
descend into
you have to have
chaos.
a decision-making
Yeah,
process.
but
It has to have an element
And they make the
of,
decisions.
But I have written to Mr. McCullough to give
Yeah.
him a week's notice
Yeah.
of the question that I
Yeah,
wanted to
sure,
ask.
sure.
It was about live streaming, ironically. Live
Oh,
streaming of what goes on in
Yeah.
council meetings.
Yeah.
And I was advised that live streaming should be agreed, hopefully today, but definitely confirmed at the next full council meeting,
Yeah.
which is the 12th of September.
That's
So
what it is, yeah.
my query is, first of all, why does the Constitution say that? And the council can change that Constitution. Of course they can.
Yeah.
However, they hide behind it because they clearly don't want public involvement.
I'm not disputing any of it. All I'm trying to do, you know, as I say, you ask anybody, and they'll say, who puts down the most questions? Who puts down the most what I call notices of motion? These are mechanisms by which I and my colleagues can try and hold people to account for
Yeah,
decisions that they make. So the point I'm trying to get at is, and forgive me, I don't want to bore you by repetition, but the Constitution is agreed by the Council. It is a legal document. There's nothing...
But it can be
But
changed.
of course it can.
So the next
for
question will
example, I put
be,
down...
we want it changed.
No. I put down... I mean, I'll give you another example. One of the principals committee is one called Audit and Governance. Now, it's semi-independent, I'll put it that way. And that is the major one that looks at the finance and looks at the consequence of decisions that are made. Are you with me up to now? Anything which comes from the Cabinet has to go through the audit, a lot of it, goes through the Audit and Governance Committee. But the chairman of the Audit and Governance Committee is a Labour member. Now, this person is, as far as I'm concerned, a reasonable person. I've got no problem with that. But he or she, whatever the case may be, cannot see the documents on some of the decisions that the Cabinet have made. Now, you can't scrutinise a decision that's been made if you don't know the information on which that decision
So
was
where's
based.
the reasoning behind that?
So all I'm trying to say to you is this: there's how many here? 1, 2, 3, 4. You can all individually put. It's the one thing you've got. You can all ask a question to the whole council.
So
and
how-
you can do it in every. You can do
So-
it in every full council meeting.
How
You can't do
often
it
are the
committees.
full council meetings?
They're not many. Very hard to do,
Exactly.
yeah.
And that is
But
my
that's another thing, you
point.
see. They used to be every month, so it was much more accountable.
Yeah, so they don't want people to speak, this is the thing.
Yeah,
Cut them
but
down,
you
doesn't
know,
help
let me put it to you this way. I mean, I've got on the go in my own patch at the moment. Let me just say about a dozen issues. If everybody who had an issue with part of that issue went along and did something,